श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we will be reading from 10th canto, chapter 23, the Brahmana's wives blessed, text number 33 and 34. So I'll just recite text number 33 because it doesn't have a purport, and then we will all together recite text number 34. Text number 33. श्रवणात् दर्शनात् मयि भावो अनुकीर्तनात् न तथा सन्निकर्षेण प्रतीयात ततो ग्रहान्. Translation. It is by hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating upon me and chanting my names and glories that love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Therefore please go back to your homes. Text number 34. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Uktadhija Patnyastva Iti Uktadhija Patnyasta Yagyavatam Punargata Yagyavatam Punargataha Na Chanya Anusuyastabhi Suyavastabhi na chanyanusuyavastabhi stribhi satram aparayan stribhi satram aparayan. Shri Shukha Uvacha iti uktadija patnyasta iti uktadija patnyasta yagyavatam punargata yagyavatam punargataha te chanya anasuyavastabihi te chanya suyavastabihi Stribhi satram aparayan Stribhi satram aparayan. Yagyavatam punargataha te chanyasuyavastabihi srivistam aparayan. Iti uktadija patnyasta yagyavatam punargata te cha anyasuyavastabihi Srivi satram aparayan. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti uktadija patnyasta yagyavatam punargata te chanyasuyavastabihi Sribi Shatram Aparayan. Mothers. Shukavacha Iti Ukta Dvijapatnyasta Yagyavatam Punargata Srechanya Suyavastabi Sribi Shatram Aparayan. Word to word meaning. Shri Shuka Uvacha. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Iti, with these words, Ukta, spoken to, Dvija Patnya, the wives of the Brahmanas, Ta, they, Yagyavatam, to the place of sacrifice, Punaha, again, Gataha, went, Te, they, their husbands, Cha, and Anasuyavaha, not inimical, Tabihi, together with them, Stribihi, their wives, Satram, the sacrificial performance, Aparayan, they completed. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, thus instructed the wives of the Brahmanas returned to the place of sacrifice. The Brahmanas did not find any fault with their wives, and together with them, they finished the sacrifice. Purport. The wives of the Brahmanas obeyed Lord Krishna's order and returned to the sacrificial arena of their husbands, whereas the gopis, although ordered by Krishna to go home, remained in the forest to dance with him through the full moon night. Both the gopis and the Brahmana's wife achieved pure love of Godhead. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalokya Chakshura Nimiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shravanad Darshanad Dhyanan Mai Bhava Anukirtanat Na Tatha Sannikarshena Pratiyata Tato Grahan. So here we receive this beautiful instruction from Krishna again, that how we can advance in our devotional life. Actually, the whole process of sadhana bhakti, it ends with bhava. Actually, the goal of sadhana bhakti itself is to achieve that stage of bhava where we can actually see the Lord personally. Because we have this material body, these material senses, because of these material things, we cannot see Krishna directly face to face. It's not possible. It's only possible by spiritual senses. And how to develop these spiritual senses? How can one be qualified to see the Lord personally face to face? Simple is that we engage our senses in the service of the master of the senses. Rishikena sevenam bhaktir uchate. So different ways are given how to engage these senses in the service of the Lord. Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhaktarasamrita Sindhu gives 64 different ways by which we can actually engage our senses in different services of the Lord. And one of that, few of them are mentioned, 4 of them are mentioned here in this shloka, Shravanad. Shravanad means hearing, by hearing. So what happens when we hear about Krishna? When we hear about Krishna, it will remove, because Baddhaji, it's naturally repulsive towards Krishna. So that natural repulsiveness will be removed when we start hearing about Krishna. And all the dirty things which are in our heart, that also vanquishes when we start hearing about Krishna. And all those attachments which we have for our material things, the unwanted things, the anarthas, even those anarthas will be vanished when we start hearing about Krishna, slowly and slowly. And slowly, as these anarthas vanish, as these attachments vanish, what happens? We slowly will be placed in mode of goodness. And once mode of goodness arises in us, and our bhakti, our engagement of those senses in the service of the Lord continues, slowly the dormant love awakens. And friendship towards the Lord will be developed. So this is the process, the easiest process, the most important process is Shravanam, hearing. This is how the effect will take place. It's also compared, a beautiful analogy is there of, what it means by hearing, because different, like the Brahmanas, they are also hearing, they have also heard a lot, but they have heard a lot from the Vedas. So it's like compared, the hearing from the Vedas, it's like compared to, having a raw paddy, the paddy from the field. When you remove the paddy from the field, that raw rice, eating like a raw, it's just like compared to eating raw rice. But how long will you eat raw rice? It's not palatable. You cannot digest it also properly. Maybe a little bit you can take it while breaking your Ekadashi fast, but not that we will have, we eat raw rice from the fields. And the husk, when they beat the rice, the paddy, when they beat, the husk which is there, the raw rice removes and the husk remains. That husk is compared to the other knowledge, the other books of knowledge. And the knowledge given by Krishna, like the Gita, the knowledge of the Gita, that's like an cooked rice. And the knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam is like the flavored rice, when they put kaju, badam, all that, and they flavor up the rice, it's like that, Srimad Bhagavatam. And further on, when acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, when they give their purport, and when we try to understand through that purports, it is like directly feeding the child. They open their mouth and directly is feeding us this palatable rice. So that's the role of the spiritual master. It's his role to keep always your mouth open and continuously go on feeding Krishna Katha. Go on continuously feeding the knowledge of Krishna. Because what happens by that knowledge of Krishna, the attraction towards him develops. Just like the Brahman Putneys, they slowly develop that attraction for Krishna. And slowly that attraction turns down to affection, that love, that affection for him. And that develops enthusiasm. Through that enthusiasm develops determination. And through that determination rises the desire to serve. Like they had that desire to serve Krishna immediately. And that's desire to serve, and that develops the right and that brings on the right attitude to give whatever Krishna pleases. He is ready to give, and that's called as Atma Samarpan. That's what we see in the Brahman Patnis, that they were ready to give themselves also. So this is the effect of actual hearing. Of course, there is something called as Pseudo Yearning also, which is like a ritualistic hearing. Just for the purpose of hearing, you sit and you hear. It's like a ritualistic hearing. But such ritualistic hearings don't have these effects, because such is just for the sake of hearing that you hear. But there is no but the true hearing is like you accept what you are hearing and you are ready to follow what you are hearing. But pseudo hearing is just sunne ke liye sunna hai. There is no Bhagavad Saptas you see outside, they hear, they go. Acha laga, entertainment ho gaya, chalo jao. It's like that, pseudo hearing. So that doesn't bring this such effects. And then one more of that is mentioned, one more activity of that is mentioned is darshanad. There is microscopic view, to see something which is very, very small, which is not observable to our naked eyes. And then there is something telescopic view to see something which is very far, distant away from our naked eyes. There is something called abysscopic view to see something very deep. Similarly, there are many other views like that. And there is something called as parascopic. Parascopic is something which is beyond material, because we are used to see something material, matter. But something which is beyond matter, how to see that? It's not possible for us. But that vision only can be given, as it may be awarded by the spiritual master. Only he awards us that vision, by which we can see something which is beyond matter. That's called self-realization. And it's explained that how darshan of the Lord is so auspicious and has tremendous effect on us. Just like if you see, we start seeing the deity form of the Lord, as Srila Prabhupada explained us, we should start seeing the deity form of the Lord from the lotus feet of the Lord. When we see the lotus feet of the Lord, first thing which we see is the toenails, the beautiful shining toenails of the Lord. So these toenails of the Lord, they remove the gloom of the heart. And the lotus feet of the heart, the lotus feet of the Lord is like thunderbolt that shatters all our sins. And the thighs of the Lord, they are like the storehouses of energy. Everybody is in want of energy. And taking darshan of the thighs of the Lord, they award the energy to us. Likewise, the navel, which is the foundation principle of the creation. The chest of the Lord, which attracts the mind, which gives satisfaction to the mind, and all satisfaction to the eyes, the pleasure to the mind. Likewise, the neck, which enhances the beauty of the kastuba gel where it is placed. And the different necklaces which the Lord wants, these different pearl necklaces are those beautiful pure devotees of the Lord. They represent these pure devotees whom He wears. The arms, they represent the power of the demigods. And the face of the Lord, the beautiful face of the Lord, it represents the lotus. And the hairs are like the bumblebees. And the two eyes are like the fishes. So here is the lotus, and above which is the bumblebees, and below which are the fishes moving around. So this is a beautiful allegory of the effect of the darshan of the Lord. How important is the darshan of the Lord, the proper darshan of the Lord. Likewise, here it's mentioned Shravanad, Darshanad, Dhyanan. Dhyanan means meditation. We see, what do you call the expert devotee, the advanced devotee, avyartha kalatvam. Not even a single moment is wasted without thinking of the Lord. They all the time meditating about the Supreme Personality of God. They meditate upon the name of the Lord, the form of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord. All the time they are meditating. There is not a single moment where they lose, thinking something else. No, all the time they are meditating on the form of the Lord. Like Srila Prabhupada, all the time he was meditating about how to spread the glories of the Lord. Even when he was in Vrindavan, he was searching out, information about America, how to go to America, how are the people there, and how can I do that service to my spiritual master. That was his meditation. And Anukirtanat. Anukirtanat means chanting the names and names, qualities, pastimes of the very function of the Jiva is to continuously glorify the Lord. Other than that, actually there is no worth, it's not worth. It's only given, actually meant for glorifying the Lord. Other than that, whatever it does is all rubbish. It's only supposed to be always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. So, by such engagements, constant engagements, slowly and slowly, all our anarthas in the heart slowly will be vanished, and pure love towards Him will be developed. One point comes up that how is it that by engaging our material senses, which is matter, something, you will get a spiritual result. How is it possible? Because the natures are completely apart. So something material giving up something spiritual. So one point has to be understood, that though the senses are engaged in the service of the Lord, nothing is material. One has to understand the whole act is spiritual. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments even in Bhagavad Gita that even if it's a neophyte devotee, when he engages with his material senses, though he is not completely pure, but still that act is completely spiritual. It's completely pure. It has no flaw. So one has to take account that it's completely spiritual, the act. And the very means of bhakti, it's like cultivating our love. And it has two aspects. One is anukulena krishna anushilanam and anyabhilashita shunyam. It has to be something, no ulterior motive. One is no ulterior motive, and another is that it has to be completely favorable. When activities towards the Lord is in a favorable mood to please the Lord without having any ulterior motive, then such activity is called as bhakti. Such engagement is actually pure. It is completely spiritual, nothing material. But there are people who may be engaging in such kind of activities. We see sometimes, sometimes they have, the Satyanarayan Katha in their house. They are engaging in hearing about the Lord's pastimes, or sometimes they are chanting also the names Lord. But their motives are not pure. They have material motives. And many a times they are not even favorable towards the Lord. Like the Mayavadis. They also are engaged in certain kind of similar activities. But then we understand that when they reach to a point of liberation, they want to give up all these activities because they think now we have achieved, now we don't require anymore. There is one favorite pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, I remember, that Srila Prabhupada, where he had a morning walk and he had to climb a little higher cliff, like he had to climb somewhere. And one disciple, he ran forward and he gave a hand to Srila Prabhupada so he can come up easily. So Srila Prabhupada took his help, he came up and immediately brushed him off. So he felt it very bad. But and even disciples noticed it, but they didn't understand why Srila Prabhupada did so. Because he's supposed to, he is very kind and gentle in his mannerisms. But seeing that act, they had some, like why it could be like that. So then someone asked Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said that yes, I did that for the purpose to teach you something, that this is how Mayavadis do. They want to reject, they take that, it's like, it's like a staircase. They use these processes as staircase to climb up to the point of liberation, and when they reach at that summit, they want to give up that. They want to throw away that ladder. So it's not like that, because these activities continue. We see even when we are at the sadhana stage, we continue the activities of Shravanam, Kirtanam, all these activities of bhajan, slowly reaching to the point of anartha nivritti, where all these anarthas will go away, and slowly it will bring us to the point of nishtha, ruchi, asakti, and at a stage where, and it brings us to the stage one day where Krishna will judge us and will award us his Shakti. He sees our qualification, and accordingly, when there is enough purity, he awards us that Shakti, which comprises of Ladini and Samvit. So that Samvit Shakti actually is the means by which we can actually perceive Krishna, we can see Krishna, we can feel Krishna directly. And that's the Ladini Shakti which will actually make us feel the goal, the joy of bhakti. So it's not just because being present close to Krishna that these things will happen on its own. Just being present, you're like, Krishna is saying, just by having physical proximity, sannikarshana, that being next to him, because you see even demons are very close to him. They are right close to him, they are touching him, fighting with him, everything. But do they develop any bhava or prema? They never develop bhava or prema, because they don't have that favorable attitude, and they don't want to please him. Shri Shri Radharas Bihari ki jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So devotees of the Lord, they want to have they have a very favorable attitude towards him. The attitude is to please Krishna. Everything they want to do is to please Krishna, and they don't have any separate motive out of it, that I want to please this person because I want something out of it. No, they want to just please Krishna. That is what is their whole soul motive out of it. There is nothing they want in return. And we see such activities, we want to do such activities even in sadhana stage, and it continues even after reaching to the bhava platform, that we want to continue the same activities. We see that even in Vraja, that all the Vrajavasis, they are all the time engaged only in this one activity of chanting and glorifying Krishna. You see the cowherd boys, when they come back, they are all the time, describing about the various glorious pastimes of the Lord, how he fought with the demons and how he killed these demons and what all playthings we did. And the gopis all the time, see Mother Yashoda, when she was churning that butter, she was singing about the glories of the Lord. So these same activities continue even after achieving perfection. Because at the point of, at that level, these different activities, these same activities we performed at sadhana level, when they perform at that level of perfection, this same activity, actually they express the love of Krishna. That is called as anubhav, the love of Krishna. In general, the general anubhavas are like, they are singing, dancing for the pleasure of Krishna. Like that, there are certain specific anubhavas for the ones who are in level of friendship, where they want to play with him, they want to beat him, they want to wrestle with him, fight with him. The parents have special anubhavas where they want to bathe the Lord, they want to put clothing and ornaments and want to feed him. And similar way, the gopis have their special anubhavas where they prepare garlands from him, they dress him beautifully, and they want to sing for his pleasure, they want to dance with him. So different anubhavas, these different activities are all those activities where they express their love for him. So the devotee's attitude is, everything for the pleasure of the Lord and nothing for myself. And in the Brahma Vimohan Leela, where Lord Brahma talks about, how even if there are many obstacles on this path, but still the devotee does not want to give up. And he never even wants to blame the Lord that, you are the Supreme Personality Lord and you can save me from these situations, but you are rather putting me in difficult situations. They don't even want to blame in that way the Lord. They take it as okay, it's my own karma, let me suffer. No problem. But I don't want to give up these very activities of pleasing the Lord. So there are various obstacles which come on their path, like avidya, papa bij, karmas. These are different obstacles on the path of devotion. But still they continue their devotional service, because as we go on, leaving from anartha nivritti, where all the papa bijas will go away, then further at the level of asakti, where the karmas will leave, and at a point of bhava, where avidya also is destroyed. Sometimes at the level of bhava also, some kind of traces of Vaishnava aparadh may be there. Because of that, it may stir up again avidya, and because of that avidya, again that obstacle, like in Bharat Maharaj's case, we understand how in Bharat Maharaj's case, this avidya became the cause of the obstacle in his devotional service, where he developed that love for the deer, and again he had to come back. So these various obstacles are there, but slowly as we progress, continuing our devotional serving, having that faith, that conviction, which is also nothing material about it. It is also spiritual, because that's the tendency of love of the Jiva, that faith, that's the starting point of our progress towards devotional life. So we see this different situation, this particular situation which we are talking here about in this verse, where the Putneys, the Brahmana Putneys, they abandoned their husbands, they abandoned their homes, and they left everything for Krishna. They ran and came to Krishna, and they want to be always with Krishna. They want to take permanent shelter, because they have left the temporary shelter of their husbands, their homes, and now they have come to a permanent shelter of Krishna. And now you see this situation where Krishna is telling, no, you go back. So the question arises, is Krishna like that? What kind of hope does he give us? He's telling them to go back. They have abandoned everything, they have come to him, and now he's telling go back. So one may ask, is this the way Krishna lets us down? No, there is another point of view to it. You see, when these Brahman Patnis, when they abandoned their husbands, they actually displeased their husbands. They were not happy about it, that they were leaving and going to Krishna. And when they returned back, it is not that the Brahmanas, they beat them or they scolded them or they punished them. No, nothing like that. They rather accepted them as if nothing has happened. Rather didn't just accept them as nothing has happened, rather they even glorified them. They respected them for their love for Krishna. So we see in this material world, everybody is engaged only in pleasing others, because they think it's very easy to please others. You just do what they say. हाँ प्रभु जी जैसे आप चाहेंगे वैसा ही होगा. It's very easy. You just do as they want and they are pleased by that. But remember, you can please the person by doing as they say, but remember, they will never respect you. Respect will never be there for you. You can only draw their respect when you actually surrender only to Krishna, when you hear Krishna. You can only draw that respect when you develop the highest ideal of behavior. Only then where that respect will be drawn. We see in the case of these Brahman Putneys, when they went back, they just not were accepted, but they were respected. So, and then there is another point where in the purport where it is mentioned that how the Putneys went back. Krishna said, you go back, and they went. But the gopis were also told to go back, but they never went. So we don't try to judge, situations, because it is also said that they both achieved perfection. Because one thing, very important thing to understand is that to reject the order of Krishna or to reject the order of Guru also requires some higher kind of understanding and deep love, without which it cannot happen. That reminds me of an pastime of Srila Prabhupada at the end of his life, end of those pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, where he was lying on the bed in Vrindavan, and even a slight jerk they knew can cost his life. And that's the time when Srila Prabhupada, he had developed that desire that he wanted to go around Govardhan in a bullock cart. And he ordered so. And there was one group of disciples who were saying that's his last wish, we should do it. But then there was immediately another group of devotees who were saying, no, it cannot be, And they were like terrified by that very idea to lift Srila Prabhupada and carry till the bullock cart, and those jerks of those bullock carts, what effect it will cause to Srila Prabhupada. They just couldn't handle that. Imagination, was terrible for them. And they opposed it at that point of time. And we see that opposition won. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, of course, said that, Srila Prabhupada, why do you do these things to us? You put us in such a situation like that, And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, that's my job. My job is to increase your love for me. In similar way, Krishna also, sometimes he does such things, is just to increase the love of his devotees towards him. So, such rejection of the order requires deep love and understanding. Gopis knew that very well, that actually Krishna wants us to be there with him, and that's how then the Rasa dance was performed. So so the whole point is to be understood is that we don't, from these two shlokas, is that there is no need to please common people, just to meet the ends, There is no need like that. The main thing is to please Krishna. Just like Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj, he never, his spiritual master is ordering him directly, do as I say. But Bali Maharaj is, rejecting him there. We see Jad Bharat, in the previous life. He was trying to please this one deer, but that also was not proper. And then he understood, when he had a fall, he understood, the plight. And that's why in his next birth he was so careful. He was so careful. He became completely jada. No way he is going to please anybody. No way he is going to respond to anybody's desire. Only and only desire is to please Krishna. Only desire. Just like Prahlad Maharaj. He had developed such fearlessness. Why such fearlessness was developed by Prahlad Maharaj? Because his only and only fear was, I should not lose for a second the remembrance, the meditation of Krishna. All the time he was meditating on Krishna. All the time the Lord was present in front of him. So that was his fear. And because of this fear of not losing Krishna, that he lost all the fear of all other people, including Hiranyakashipu, the greatest demon father, who had terrorized the whole world, even the demigods. So we see the very fact that what's most important is to please Krishna, not people. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur did, in his commentary, he says that like the Lord here told the gopis, that told the Brahmana Putneys that without any, you go back and soon you will regain perfection. Soon you will attain the level of perfection. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that like a touchstone, Krishna Shakti transformed the other wives' material bodies into spiritual bodies. And thus from that day onwards, Brahman ladies had no more contact with their husbands. They were completely freed. They were completely in spiritual bodies, all the time seeing the Lord, all the time being with the Lord, all the time thinking only of the pleasure of the Lord. Because he says that even in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, this point has come about Krishna's kripa, that kripa siddhi yagya patnis vairichini sukhadaya. Those who become perfect by the mercy of Lord Krishna, such as wives of the Brahmanas, the son of Virochan, Bali Maharaj, and Sukadeva Goswami. So these examples come. So we know that they achieve perfection. Anyway, I will like to halt here. If anybody wants to say something or want to comment something, they can.
Hare Krishna. The beauty of hearing about Krishna, in the second verse of Bhagavatam, Dharma Projita Gaitotra, it is written that if somebody hears with faith, one will get love of Krishna quickly. But the hearing about Bhagavatam pleases Krishna so much, just touching the book itself, without even faith, that person also will get Krishna Prema. Even if somebody reads Bhagavatam without faith also. But it takes little longer. But if somebody hears with Shraddha, they will immediately get Krishna Prema. But if they hear even without Shraddha, still they will get love of Krishna. But it will take time. So in third kind of Bhagavatam, Satam Prasangam, in that, so the time that we get duration to get Krishna Prema depends on the quantity and quality of Sangha. If you hear from a pure devotee and a lot of huge quantity, just like a small fire burns little place, but if you want to burn a big building and all, you need a huge fire. Like that, if there is a huge quantity of hearing about Krishna and you hear from a pure devotee, then immediately one gets the result. So Srila Prabhupada writes in fourth kind of Bhagavatam, Kumara's teachings to Prithu Maharaj, that the greatest service you can do to the Acharya is hear from him. So that is why Krishna is advising first Shravanam. So that's how Brahmana's wives, they got Krishna Prema. Even without taking initiation, without even going to Guru or samskaras, all these Brahmanas, they are doing austerity, they are practicing brahmacharya, they took initiation, they learned Vedas, but they didn't get Krishna Prema. But these ladies, they heard from betel nut sellers, fruit sellers, dobis, and they got Krishna Prema. So this is the effect of Krishna Katha. In Brihad Bhagavatam also it is written that for chanting, offenses are considered. Means when you are chanting, if you commit offense, but once you get a bona fide source of hearing, in hearing Bhagavatam, there is no offense involved. So that's why it quickly gives the result. That's why we should hear more and more and read Prabhupada books more and more.
Reading is as good as hearing from Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Srila Prabhupada says, no, I wrote these books not just for distribution, but also for the devotees to read. So the best service we can offer Srila Prabhupada is by reading his books every day, without fail. Okay. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल।